I am here with one of my favorite actors and one of my favorite shows, Steve Blackwood, from the show Days of Our Lives. He's also known as Bart from the Days of Our Lives. How are you doing today, Steve?
Good, Joe. How you doing? Hello, St. Louis?
Yeah.
And everywhere.
Yes. Wow, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Wow, so recently departed Bart, and tell us, what was your thoughts when the producers came up to you and they said, you know what, we're gonna kill off Bart? What did you think?
First of all, I went, oh no! I've been on the show for 10 years, as you know, Joe, and I started off doing, like a serious yes man to Stefano, just a normal henchman.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I started adding some lines, and it became a full-blown comedy character. So when the producer came down to say, we're killing you off, I went, no, I want to do my comedy.
Yeah.
They're taking away my comedy, and dying is not funny.
Yeah, it's not.
And so I was shocked, and then I realized that it was part of their storyline about the, swallowing the mysterious key.
Yes.
And that if I swallow the key, they're going to cut me open, and the only way they can cut me open is to have the Brady's or whatever cut me open through an autopsy, which would mean that I would have to die. My question is, why me?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That was my first reaction. Why me? Couldn't somebody else swallow this key?
Yeah. Well, we talked about your demise. Now, let's go to the beginning of your career. And from my understanding, you did some stand-up comedy work, right?
No, I did not. I do nightclubs where I sing.
Oh.
And in the nightclubs, I do a lot of comedy in between songs. I try to get the audience laughing as well. So it's kind of like a variety show. I
Awesome.
do a lot of Sinatra, some blues, and I joke around with the audience, and I talk about Days of Our Lives sometimes, and sometimes do a lot of shtick up there. But basically, I'm a legitimate jazz singer, and I've got 3 jazz albums out now, and they're all available at steveblackwood.com.
All right.
So, jump on and get to the PayPal and buy it. But I started off my acting career in New York with the legendary, speaking of legends, Uta Hagen teaching me how to act.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came out here with my wife on my honeymoon. That was my honeymoon, the drive across country. So I owe her a honeymoon. And we started doing some film and TV, and I did like NYPD Blue and Dr. Quinn and Quantum Leap, shows like that, Judging Amy. And Fran Bascom, the casting director at the time, she's no longer with Days. She just got dumped a couple of days ago.
Oh, yeah.
Called me in when she saw me doing the play, which I highly recommend to all young actors, is to get in. If you want to get seen for TV or for anything, you got to be seen, and to be seen on stage, because they want to see if you can cut the mustard.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she called me in to do 3 days in 1997 as a henchman, Bart, who pretends to be a carpenter to build the secret room for Goofy Susan,
Yeah.
who was Eileen Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I started. So I started off for 3 days, and the temp turned to permanent, because the fans kept writing in saying, we like that guy, or something about him we like, and then they just kept bringing me back until finally I became a regular on the show, and have been up until, we had that year and a half off when Tony went to jail, and I split with him, trying to figure out how to get him out of jail.
Yeah.
But then I came back and to the big storyline here with a capital B of the Bradys and the DeMeras. Why have they hated each other for 42 years?
Yeah.
So I'm an integral part of the plot line. Unfortunately, it took my death to do that. But the bottom line is that I started off with a small part in it and turned it into something bigger. So that gives a lot of hope to all you actors out there, and people that do small parts. Remember, there aren't any small parts, only small actors.
All right. That's brilliant advice, Mr. Blackwood. And on Days of Our Lives, wow. And I'm sure, I'm just assuming you go to Home Depot or something like that, and people are like, oh, hey, it's Bart. You ever get that?
I get that. Yeah, people come up and and say hi and get my autograph or whatever. I get it more when I go to my home in Detroit, Michigan, or places outside, or in the South. I mean, it's wild. In the South, we're really popular. Days of Our Lives. South Carolina, everybody knew me. In in Hollywood, there's an awful lot of celebrities walking around, so it's they don't come up to you as much as they do in the outer areas of Hollywood, but they do. They once in a while do, and it's a lot of fun to, and a lot of them, most of them are all hitting that websites like yours and saying, why did Bart have to be killed? He was entertaining. He made me laugh.
Yeah.
Why do they want to? Why do they bring him back just to kill him off? So, to all you fans, I just want to say I appreciate your support, and there is a Bring Back Bart petition somewhere on the internet if you want to sign that. Only you get killed off on a soap. That doesn't mean you're dead.
No.
Stefano was Phoenix, and he's come back at least 9 times.
Yeah.
And Tony, I think, has died once or twice. The wonderful friend of mine, Teo Penglass.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. And so it's not out of the question that Bart's evil twin, Biff, or something like that, could come back and do some more funny mischief in Salem.
That would be so awesome, because you're one of my favorite characters on the show. I would say probably, if not, you're the best person on the show. And because I don't know, I'm a 20-year-old guy. Watching Days of Our Lives, people are like, "What are you watching that?" I go, "No, you got to see the DiMeras. This is the show. And I like the bad guys, and people always criticize me for rooting for Stefano and Bart. And now that you're gone, it's like, oh, I guess I could root for Andre now. Since
you root for Andre, but it's funny that you say that, because a lot of the fans do root, kind of like Tony DiMera and Stefano DiMera and Bart Beiderbecke and Ralph, Dr. Ralph, to a certain extent, because. We're not this black villains. I mean, we have another side. I mean, I've shown a humorous side to being a bad guy, and I think to a certain extent, Joe Mascolo has a charm, and Tony DiMera has a charm, and Rolf has a sense of humor. I mean, we did a lot of comedy lines or comedy situations where I was dressed up as a woman.
Yeah.
And we were elves one time during the Christmas episodes. So we show another dimension. We're not just this like bad guys. We bring some charm to it that I think the audience really appreciates. And a lot of people like yourself really seem to root for the bad guy. The good guys are just too good.
Yeah. I always get criticized for rooting for the good guys from the friends that I watch Days of Our Lives with, and they're like, "Oh, how can you root against John?" I'm like, no, Bart is the man. And Andre, apparently, since he's not Tony anymore.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was Andre until way into the storyline. I mean, all those scenes in the car and when we're trying to, demolish or cut the brake lines to Roman's car and all that stuff, that was Andre all the time.
Yeah, wow.
And I didn't, Bart was like left in the dark until that final sword duel.
Yeah.
Where, both of them were in the same, of course, Teo played both roles, but both of them were in the same room, as the audience saw it.
Mm-hmm. Now, you got any other future appearances? Now that you're not on Days anymore, we don't think, and you gonna be on any other shows in the future, or do you know, or?
Well, I've got an agent, and I'm going out auditioning for films and TV, like nighttime stuff. Bart is ready. Steve Blackwood is really ready for prime time.
Awesome.
So we'll see if I can land a couple through auditions. But I'm back out there auditioning, and the big event coming up, 2 big events coming up. One is that I'm doing a play called The Prisoner of Second Avenue, the Neil Simon play, the comedy.
Okay.
And I'm doing it at the Beverly Hills Playhouse with Wally Langham from CSI directing it.
Uh-huh.
And that's opening September 28th through November 4th. And so a lot of casting people and producers and people like that come to that Playhouse, Beverly Hills Playhouse. So that should open up a lot of doors. And I continue to do nightclubs here in Los Angeles and out of town. I do a lot of clubs in Detroit when I'm there, and so life is good. It's all good. I miss the comedy, but I'll probably be doing comedy through another character somewhere else in a film or TV show real soon.
Awesome. And I was thinking, you ever gonna visit St. Louis, or?
I did. We were talking about. I before you started the interview. There used to be an event. Salem Fest, I believe it was called, or something like that. But for 3 days, they would fly us out from, Burbank, where we shoot, to Salem, and all the fans from across the country, and really a lot of them coming from the South, where St. Louis is sort of on the border. Missouri is on the border, so they come up from Tennessee, or they